Greetings, and good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Oh my gosh, welcome back to our first Lunch and Learn after this year's amazing Juneteenth weekend. Oh my gosh, can you guys tell that my face is still coming down from all of this fun in the sun in New York City? It was such an amazing weekend. First of all, I want to thank you all that came out, all of you that watched the virtual piece on Friday. Any of you that are looking for the replays, they're coming soon. Thank you for coming out on Saturday. Amazing. Kudos to our Black Kings that were honored and awarded in the 7 Principles of Kwanzaa on Saturday afternoon. Everyone who came out to the festival on Saturday in Linden Park. Thank you for joining us at Prospect Park on Sunday. What an amazing day we had. We had Aniko out. We had so many amazing talent, fashion shows, dancing, vendors, everybody. Thank you so much to all of you who came out. Just a couple things that I'd like to share before we go into this week's Lunch and Learn, which is amazing. Wait until you guys see what we have in store for you this week. I do want to let you guys know that our vendors that were available this weekend will still be able to be accessed, and we would really love for you all to go check out our vendors, okay? They will be living at the Black Virtual Mall, which the link will be dropped in the chat by the end of session. And we'll also let you know how long you can find them there. I also want you guys to keep a lookout if you're on the email list. Keep your lookout for the email that will contain the links to watch the replays for the award luncheon, for the virtual piece from Friday, and any other recaps that they'll be sharing this year. That'll come out in email. And if not, always please come back to our Juneteenth page and check that out. Well, again, thank you for allowing us grace last week. We took a little break to prepare and get ready to dive into the weekend. But now we are back with an amazing sister that I cannot wait to bring up to the stage. But first, we're going to share a little snippet of what she's up to out in the world. Jervin? Welcome up, Miss Angela Yvonne, who just made me hungry.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? Welcome to Juneteenth's weekly Lunch and Learn. So happy to have you here with us today. Girl, those clips, I'm hungry.
Come on to the greenside. It's great over here.
And I'm going to tell you, you made it look so good. I'm still trying to cut them. Oh, yeah, I know. People love to call you when you're in the middle of things, but that's on me because I didn't turn off my notifications. Can you hear me now? Still now?
Yes, okay. I can hear you. I can hear you.
As long as it didn't knock me out. So, that happens sometimes. Sometimes it's like, uh-oh, I got to sign out now and come back in. Technology doesn't always love us. Anyway. So the greener side of life.
Yes.
Tell us a little something about Angela Yvonne.
Well, I'm dope.
Listen, baby. Yes, I love that.
I'm dope. I'm amazing. I'm great. I'm a vegan or vegetarian, however you want to call it, because, the word gets everyone in a tussle, but I live a life without eating any animals. I'll just say it that way. So you can say it's plant forward. You can say, it's vegetarian, vegan, depending on if you speak to the elders, we're vegetarians. If you speak to the new people now, we're vegans. But I live a life without eating any meat. I've been a vegetarian, vegan, whatever, for over 6 years. And I host a show where I showcase all the hottest vegan spaces and trends. And I'm changing the perception on veganism through conversations, cuisine, and conscious living.
You listen, dope is about this much to encompass what I feel radiating through the screen right now. So first off, I want to share that you ain't never lie, because like I said, you made every moment in that video just look so delectable that I wouldn't have cared what I was eating. I've had some amazing vegan food that has helped me remove and dispel any stories that I had attached to veggies, So first of all, I'm just going to go there. I know for a really long time, most of our folks thought that was for the others.
Right. But
that
it's not.
Ain't a us thing. No, that needs to be an us thing, because I shared with you a little while ago that I'm a sacred woman initiate. So I really get the holistic side of living and the transitioning. Like I said, I'm not going to even lie. I still eat meat. And it's part of it, right? How dare you? I love it though. But it's like we're humans.
Absolutely.
And it's a human experience. And I know that a lot of times for a lot of us, if you're having a harder time being dedicated, that sometimes there's that one moment, that one video that you watch, that one documentary, that one moment of being sick enough, or that one word from your doctor. And I know for a fact that our community, this is invaluable.
Right. Because believe it or not, our community is the fastest growing demographic that is crossing over. And let me just say before we get started, it's not how you get over here. I just want you over here. Because our health is our biggest currency. And as soon as we get that in check, I honestly believe we will take our rightful place.
Ashe. So what I hear is that so two things come up for me. The first one, before I go to what that was, because that was actually the second thought that came to my head. But the first thought that came to my head was, especially on the heels of COVID and our community really realizing the state of emergency of our health.
Absolutely.
Literally, we ended up in a state of emergency. It caused us to start turning to the sea moss. It taught us about the elderberry. We started to learn about things that maybe we had heard about, or maybe knew, someone who may partake, but it started to make so much more sense once we started to see the impact of not focusing on our health in that way. So that was like the first thing that popped up for me. But then the second thing was, oh gosh, I lost it for a second. The second thing was just overall, it's going to come back to me. Just tell me what your thought is, because I know it's your speaking that leads my thoughts right now and is leading me where I'm going. So you tell me, what was part of how you were able to support the community during COVID with your amazing information, with your knowledge, with your practices?
Well, I always tell this story, but I came to New York because I have a goal of being on a large platform as a lifestyle expert, correspondent, whatever. And New York is the media capital. So I came here, and what we do is very competitive. People don't understand that just because you get the degrees and things of that nature, it does not constitute a job like if you were a doctor or lawyer or things of that nature. So you basically have to do a lot of free 99. You have to do a lot of just free work and just to get that type of exposure. And a lot of us, you know, it takes years, and then a lot of us are fortunate enough to have either did, you know, certain internships that put you in the eyes of people. But I was a talk show host, and you know, I was a correspondent for overseas and things of that nature. And when COVID hit, I was already in the life as far as being a vegan, not eating any meats and things of that nature. And because I was a talk show host for the L Spot show out of Brooklyn, we were allowed to get like a few segments where we could just basically, you know, produce and, you know, do what we would want to see, just a little snippet to see, you know, flex our chops or whatever. And my last couple of segments was, you know, trying to transition my producers over to the vegan lifestyle. And so, you know, my very first episode was the Urban Vegan Kitchen over there on West 4th. And I took her over there because, you know, macaroni and cheese is our vice. It's our vice. Like, you know, certain people can make it, some people can't. So because I was crossing over, I was just like, oh my God, our vegan mac is still good. You don't have to use whole milk and things of that nature. And when I did those episodes, it really, you know, started the wheels turning, because there is no vegan lifestyle show anywhere. There isn't one. They'll do little snippets like on the Today Show, or they'll do little snippets here and there, but there isn't a full show to show you that you can live in abundance without eating any, you know, animals. And even though majority of my content is from, you know, restaurants, we have a full lifestyle. There's a full vegan fashion show out in LA every year. There used to be a vegan couture house here in New York. There's just so many things. But when COVID hit, they shut down everything. I couldn't go into the different restaurants and film, and I couldn't, you know, interview certain people out in the public because Daddy Cuomo said sit down and don't even try it. So at first I was just like, well, what am I going to do? Because, you know, I just started my brand. You know, how am I going to, you know, keep this rolling? The girls were doing IG Live. So I was just like, you know what? I can do IG Live. So I just started sending emails out to people who I thought would want to have the conversation about, you know, living a life without eating any meat. And slowly but surely, it just started. First of all, it started going because we were in the house. We wasn't going nowhere. So, you know, I just started interviewing. You know, you had mentioned earlier, documentaries are key for when we're crossing over.
Yes.
You know, I've had What the Health producer on my show, Conspiracy, Keegan Kuhn. The one, What the Health is the one of the main documentaries that had people just losing their minds and crossing over. So I've had the opportunity, because of COVID, to be able to speak to the influential people like John Salley. Maya's been on my show. Badass Vegan. I can go on and on. We've done over 100 interviews. And what's important for me during our interviews is not just to have someone say, oh, you shouldn't eat meat because X, Y, and Z. No, it's important for each episode starts out with someone telling their journey too. And believe it or not, they're hilarious. And some of them are serious. Like with my journey, I started the transition when my mom got breast cancer, and I swore it was in the food. So, but before that, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Panera Bread, Burger King knew my name. I was in the drive-thru. And, you know, living in a southern state, I was in North Carolina. I didn't know a vegetarian. I didn't know a vegan. I didn't know a fruitarian. I didn't know any of that. But I knew that I had to give up those things because my mother, unfortunately, got breast cancer. And if I would have known more, I probably could have saved her, or at least prolonged her life. So that's what COVID did for me. It allowed me to be able to give back to my community, because for me, everything that I do is for, I just want to make my ancestors proud. That's it. And for me to know that I'm, being a catalyst or being some kind of an assistance for, a life of abundance and betterment without harming the planet or harming yourself or harming, animals, I'm here for it, because each one of us comes to this journey for different reasons. I'm coming for health reasons because I know that the things that they're putting in our food, one, it's intentional because everything works hand in hand, like the medical and the, the pharmaceutical, the dairy and the meat, they all work hand in hand. But some of us come because we're actually animal lovers. I love animals, but I'm not an animal activist. I understand, but that's not my ministry. The planet, I'm starting to learn a little bit more about it because, they've given us about 8 years if we don't get this together. Because, because of all the meat that we're consuming and all the emissions that are going, into our atmosphere, is causing the different changes where you don't even know what season it is anymore. So for me, it's important for me to be a face for that because, what you said prior, for the longest people thought it was a Caucasian lifestyle, but that's how we started. We didn't start eating meat until the colonizers came through. And when we did eat meat, we ate it as a celebratory type situation. We didn't eat it like, y'all, what y'all eating on Monday? We eating ham hocks today? No, we were eating fresh fruit. We were eating herbs. We were eating nuts. We were, and we would celebrate by meat because meat was a form of wealth. I guess if that's the word I can use.
I would say wealth and honoring.
Yeah.
And also what comes up for me is ritual. It was more ritualistic and honoring many different cultures and different tribes honor different either deities or gods. It's not deities in Africa, but you get where I'm going with that.
Understand.
So I remember what that thought was. So two things, and I'm not going to forget that second thing this time because it's really where I want to go next in the conversation. But girl, I got to when you started naming all those stores, I was like, and now since I moved to Atlanta, I had never had a steak and shake. I had never had a cookout before. And now I'm like, what?
Have you in a chokehold?
It got to go. I can say that I'm very grateful that I do, like I said, being an initiative sacred woman, I do have a hold on my diet. That is not something, I'm just not like this over. I don't eat the amount of red meat that I used to eat. It's like a treat now when I am treating myself per se. But yeah, but that's really what stuck out for me. And it was like, that damn cookout, that damn steak and shake. Why'd you ever have to have it? I wish I came here as a vegan.
That $5 box, I don't know how much it is now, but they have a box at Cookout where you can get nuggets, a hot dog, fries, and that strawberry cheesecake shake 3 times a week.
So look, this is me. I am cheddar style burger. Gotta get my onions in there.
Girl.
I am the cheese curd bites, and I am that cherry wine shake all day long.
Their shake alone will have you in a chokehold.
But listen, you're right. You're 100% right. I may not know the long-term effect right now, but I know the short-term effects. I know how it impacts my body the next days moving forward. I know the sluggishness that comes with it. I know the agita that I feel in my belly, the stuckness, the indigestion. I get it all. So, as much as I may joke about it, I understand the seriousness of it, and especially when like I said, I look at the height of our health and where it was really highlighted, and I totally can understand it's really a need for us more than anything. Yeah. It's a need. It's essential for us to learn that even if you're a person that doesn't plan on ever becoming 100% meatless, everyone has their own journey. But really learning to be mindful of what we're putting into our body.
Absolutely.
And the vibration that it has. That's where I wanted to go to next. Yeah. So a while ago when I had lost that thought, the thought that came up for me because you tapped on it, and I really wanted to go there because you spoke on abundance and what eating cleaner, the opportunities and the possibilities, the endless possibilities that it brings to our lives and the doors that it opens up. So for me, I know that for a fact I've seen people elevate in their vibration, their vibration raised so high when they start eating either just green, and definitely if they add raw in there.
Yes.
I've seen the abundance come from once the vibration is raised. And folks, when I say abundance, I don't just mean money. I also mean just the energy that they're moving and grooving with, their work that they're doing, what they're radiating and putting out to the world. Their purpose is amplified. So I would love for you to speak on that a little bit. Speak on the raised vibrations, the abundance, and the amplification.
Well, for me, I'm glad you I'm glad you clarified. It's not about the money. It's about clarity. It's about your energy, because whenever you eat, if you're not eating life, you're eating death. That's the one or two. It's either or. And if you are eating life, you can't help but have life. You can't help but have, an energy about you where you are able to, I guess, move around in this space that we're given in an effective way. Because you talked about how, even though we all know what food does to us. Like, we always talk about, did you get the itis? Did you get this? Did you get that? We know about how it feels. But for me, the reason why I say we live in an abundance, because we suffer in our community a fear of missing out. We suffer from, going along with the Joneses, but not actually thinking about how it may affect us, because everyone's journey is so different. And when I say in abundance, I'm saying, what else is there if you are practicing self-care, if you are practicing not, harming someone intentionally, if you are practicing, physically moving every day, if you're practicing getting your finances together. We've all seen what people look like when they're operating in abundance. And abundance for me in this space has allowed me to, it's not a sacrifice. And that's why I use the word abundance, because I feel and I know that I've gotten more by deciding to choose me first. And I know that I've gotten more than when I used to be pulling up at Cookout and Steak and Shake and things of that nature. Yeah, that 5-10 minutes of that comfort food. Yeah, I was grubbing, talking on the phone, eating, doing my thing. But at the end of the day, I became lethargic. At the end of the day, I became, overweight for my height. And it's not even about what, I guess society says what your weight is. You know what your fighting weight is. And when you're clear about what and how you want to move, you'll do by any means necessary to get there. And for me crossing over to being over the green side, I always say it's dope over here on the green side. It has allowed me to merge all the passions that I have, because like I said, I came to New York to be an on-air personality, correspondent, journalist. I have the paperwork, I have the social real estate, or whatever you want to, equate to why I can call myself this. But it's allowing me to do exactly what I came here to do, versus if I would have stayed in the lane of just continuously doing the pop culture route, I would have been in a sea of many. But now I'm in the sea of one, or maybe two. And I'm, that's abundance for me, that I'm now can honestly see the life that I'm manifesting and I've asked for, because I decided to cross over. And I'm not saying everyone will get that enlightenment, but living in abundance is becoming aware that you're exactly where you are and how your energy is, being shown to the world. And for me, and when I see the work that I'm doing, my energy is saying that, yo, I want y'all to get your currency together, because your health currency means more than money. Because if you got money and you sick, you can't enjoy it. But if you are healthy, you can get money and enjoy it. So
That's the truth. That's the truth, because we can't spend money if we're not here.
right. You can't do anything. And for me, I feel that that's one of the things that is missing in our community, is that we don't take our health as seriously as, the others may take it. Because I went to Miami last year. I was moderating a panel there for the Seed, Food, and Wine Festival, and it's one of the biggest plant-based, vegan, non-meat, whatever, festival. And that was the first time I went to Miami. And when I went there, I was just like, all these people look well nourished and moisturized. Like, and it was voted the number one healthiest place to live.
Wow.
The number one.
So I have been to Miami many and plenty of times, and it is one of my favorite cities. And I won't lie, that's a very surprising fact for me. I think if you had asked me what city I thought had that going on, I would automatically have said, "Oh, California. They're the Sunshine State. They've been kind of doing this vegan thing forever."
Right.
And not even speaking, because I do want to also disclaim to the community and everyone out there that when I say the others, I'm really just playing playing on, our community here, us,
right,
the Juneteenth community. But our counterparts have kind of been on certain journeys for longer than us. I am also, what is coming up for me in this conversation is how relevant it is to my life right now. I'm actually in the process of taking yoga teacher training. I'm also a yoni steamologist. I make teas and herbs. So, like I said, I am mindful. And while I still have not completely released, I don't want them to, I don't want to appear to be like this hypocrite who's like just in a conversation with you. This is also very real for me as well. And how you mentioned that everyone has their journey. So I love being a part of this conversation. But Miami, that is so shocking to me but it's also making a lot of sense to me, because I also know that we have a lot of churrascos down there, which is based all on meat, um, and different carvings of meat. And I also know that over the years, I didn't, my experience was probably seeing the folks that were on that same level with me, that were going to those churrascos, that were eating the Brazilian food for breakfast in the morning, going to the Brazilian buffet, loving it on the strip. And I'm thinking about some of the elders that I used to see that were like look like leather on
right.
the beach, and that are in the sun all day long, either baking. And I'm sure that baking is also going along with the meat. So it does definitely have a look that to me didn't used to look healthy.
Right.
And it used to make me wonder, like, why would you do that? And how did you get there? But
I have melanin.
As I've learned, well, yeah, we're definitely going to start there. But I definitely have also learned over the time that diet is a huge factor of that.
Oh, yes.
So, question for you. When you started your journey, first of all, what was your mom? She transitioned, yes.
Yes.
I did take that away. What was her name?
Willie Pearl.
Willie Pearl.
Yes.
So I am a fond speaker of bringing people's ancestors into our space and honoring them. So Willie Pearl, thank you for creating this path that is going to lead others, that is an eye opener for others, that has afforded Angela this platform, because you mentioned about the abundance. And when you go back and you listen to the list of names that you gave, and while we all get excited when we hear that someone has had an opportunity to interact with a celebrity, but more than anything, what I heard was is that you have people sharing their stories. And a lot of times, us folks out here, we need to hear the different stories that are out there, because you never know which story is going to be that one
Right.
that is the catalyst, the real catalyst to really push you there.
Absolutely.
You know, it could be, you know, something like what you experienced, like what we saw with COVID. It could be that, or it could just be one little sentence that is shared by someone sharing their journey. And all of it is valid, it all matters, and it's all a part of your purpose. And I'm so happy for you that you have had the opportunity to, number one, this is something that is like really new to me, the hosting thing. So you're someone who went to work, to school, to train for this. You have done it all around the world. And I think number one, you started out with your dope. Yes, you are dope. And just being able to have the platform you have. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
No, thank you, sis. Thank you. Um, so I want to know, what for you when you first started, what was your biggest challenge?
Well, my biggest challenge was thinking that I needed more to start. And the reason why is because I've been in New York for about 6, 7 years. And like I said at the beginning, there's a lot of gatekeeping when it's dealing with hosting opportunities. Because the ultimate goal for any host, journalist, is to be on a major platform. Because when you're on a major platform, your visibility is currency. So everyone doesn't tell their story on how they are able to get these different opportunities. You just see those things. And when you're trying to get those things as well, you start to doubt that you have the capabilities of doing it because you haven't landed on E yet, or you haven't landed on the Today Show, or you haven't landed on, the Food Network. But when I first started, but I've always betted on myself. I've never did anything conventional. I've always been where I wanted to live a well-nourished and industrialized life. And I didn't care. I didn't care how I was going to get it done or whatever. And for me, it was getting out my head and realizing that whenever I'm seeing this certain person, I'm not seeing that she had the path that I had. I'm seeing that, oh, she might have went to school with one of those main producers and they thought about her and thought that she was, worthy to do this. And that's how she got on hers. My journey is not the same. My journey is I've had to do a lot of free 99. I've had to work, jobs that I didn't want to work. Like, for the longest, I would beat myself up because I would wait tables past the time that you're supposed to be waiting tables. But because of COVID, that's another plus. COVID is making people realize that all the things that we thought to be true are not true. Because people are starting over. People are, birthing brands. People are, there are millionaires who became millionaires at 25, but there's millionaires who have become millionaires at 65. And no one is mentioning, oh, you need to do X, Y, and Z. Everyone now is starting to say that, no, I deserve to not have to work 9 to 5 to still get what I want. Or I deserve to be able to, travel all over the world and be paid to be me. And so when you choose that route, you have to come to the understanding that, yeah, you may have to wait tables, because what people might look at you and say, well, dang, you graduated and you've done this. Why are you still waiting tables? Because people think that waiting tables is not a reputable occupation. And they also think that there is a, what's the word I'm looking for? An expiration date. Technically it is, because, waiting tables, the mentality of the people who work, it's a party lifestyle to a certain degree. And you don't really realize that you are growing and you're aging I won't say aging because I don't subscribe to age, but you are growing as in, you know, how you see yourself. But if you stay in that environment, is more so as fast money and I can get it back tomorrow. Fast money, I can get it back tomorrow. And it's not like, oh, you getting this money, you need to invest, you need to this. And you learn different things from the environments that you are in. But with waiting tables, for me, for the longest, I felt like it was me doing myself a disservice, because I know I have all these skills. I know I have all these things that, you know, if I decide to say, no, I'm not going to do vegan pop eats, I know I could probably land at least a job that's paying me $70,000 and live comfortably, you know, in Atlanta or a small town somewhere and still be able to go on brunch. But for the legacy and the global vision that I have, waiting tables is part of my puzzle right now. And although I get frustrated because I see my peers, you know, hosting this and hosting that, yeah, I'm getting those types of situations. But I'm also have to understand and know that the universe operates in its own time. It operates in its own time. And as soon as even though I struggle with it every now and then, whenever I'm frustrated with, you know, my job situation or whatever, because I want it, you know, I've been grinding and doing this, and I'm seeing and I'm feeling like I want it now. Or even just a smidge of it now. But I am getting it now, but it might not be being shown like I feel like it should be shown. And until I get clear with that, what I'm doing is just as good, just because it's not, or just as great. I won't say good, just as great, just because it's not on a major platform right now. Evidence have shown that, like even with Tabitha Brown, I didn't know she was doing all this for like 3 years prior, but she was driving Uber by any means necessary in order for her dreams to manifest. And in the last year and a half, Tabitha everywhere. So I know that my time is coming, and that was one of the main things that I had to really come to grips with in order for me to manifest that.
I so love that share, Angela. And I'm going to be 100% transparent. And so I spoke at the top about how I let spirit really guide my conversations. And I don't even see them as interviews. They're literally conversations for me. And I was not clear. I actually meant on your food. But sis, you went right where spirit wanted us to really go. Because number one, you're speaking to me. I too am a bartender and server, and I have 3 jobs right now. And
Yes.
I 100% get it. And I have a lot of purpose work. I mentioned some of that, and I see our alignment in the area of purpose work. And I know I am a true believer that when we are working our purpose every day, that it's only a matter of time to when it's actually our time. So thank you so much for sharing that with the community. And I really hope that share really hit things for some people out there, especially for, I'm a person that I did not go to college.
Okay.
So for my sisters and brothers who actually have gone to college, who have the student loans, who have spent the time, invested the energy and the effort that goes into that, I'm that career server. I am that career person that started this at 19, but it was afforded to get into a union and then left that to come to Atlanta to chase dreams.
Yeah.
And whether left by choice or not, sometimes life forces us along to get to our purpose work, especially when we put our purpose first. So thank you for doing what you said you do as well, which is let spirit guide you as well. And you responded with so many gems. And I really hope that the community was able to take something away from that. You mentioned vegan pop-up eats. Can you please tell us about you shared about your IG and what you do over there, but please share in full what your journey, like what it is that you're doing in the world of veganism and changing diet and in the purpose work of helping people see how important our health is and how to get there, and you're making it fun?
Well, my show is called, well, my brand is Vegan Pop Eats. And it became twofold because when I first started it, like you saw at the beginning, that was my season one. Was, inviting people to come and eat vegan food and just share their thoughts about, why they never tried vegan food or whatever the conversation would be. But with COVID, it cut that in half because whenever we were allowed to come back into restaurants, they didn't want a bunch of people up in there. They were just like, oh, how many people gonna be there? And so we went to where it's just me and my videographer. And I started interviewing the chefs more and the people who, come up with the concept of, the plant-based space, vegan space, vegetarian space. And with my show, the goal is for it to be global. Because I just want to show you how hot it is to be in our space. We have vegan fashion, we have vegan beauty, we have vegan, the lifestyle. Like Bentley, I think it was, for its 100th anniversary, the leather that was in the car was made from plants. And I think it was either pineapple or it might have been grape leaves, something like that. But the interior was made from plants. We have luxury designers, like Telfar bag is a vegan luxury bag. We have Black vegan designers out here making shoes. We have other vegan designers that are making this. And because there is no such thing as a vegan lifestyle show, it's something that, I know that it's going to grow because of the fact that people want to know. Because when people cross over, the first thing that come out their mouth is, well, if I'm giving up this, where can I get the same or better? Because that's always the solution. If I'm going to give this up, I need this or better. Whether that's you moving to a different state, whether that's you being in a relationship with somebody. If I'm by myself and I get with you, it needs to be what I've been doing for myself or better. So with crossing over and with people having the fear of missing out because they're not eating any meat, I decided that, I want to showcase how good we eat over here. We eat vegan oxtails over here. We got mac and cheese. We got fried chicken. We got everything that you need. But it also, I want people to open their minds, because the reason why a lot of us are in spaces that we're in is because we don't want to open up our minds to the true possibilities of what can be. And in the vegan space, you can eat good. Like I always tell people, when you cross over, there's levels to this. Like you don't just stay a vegan. Vegan for me, I tell everybody, it's freshman year, because you're giving up the meat, but you're still, eating the processed meats and all that other stuff. And let me preface this by saying that just because you're vegan doesn't mean you're healthy, because if you're still consuming process of anything, it still affects your body the same way. And then I say, sophomore year is plant-based. Or, and people use their own different definitions, but, plant-based to me is when it's, plants and I'm minimally eating the process. Then you get to raw, and then you get to alkaline. And when you're on that level, that's senior and junior year. And that's getting to the optimum health, because you're not even consuming, the shenanigans that was, when you were a vegan. And where I comfortably sit is between raw and plant-based, because I love eating raw. I love it. It's easy. It's not, and it's not, being in this space is not as expensive as people think it is. It's only expensive when you're eating the processed meats, because those are the ones that are like $7.99, $10.99, $12.99. Just egg, I saw, was like, I think $10.99. But if you really research and start to just trust yourself and trust your gut, you'll find how this lifestyle will work for you, and you will see the evidence immediately.
I was going to say, and speaking of just going to do a little shameless plug. Just Egg was one of our sponsors this
Yes.
weekend. And thank you so much to them for coming out on both days. And actually, they were out all 3 days. They had an infomercial on Friday, and they were in person giving out egg burritos.
I love them.
On Saturday and Sunday. And I actually have some Just Egg foldables in my freezer right now.
That is my go-to.
And they are, I'm going to tell y'all folks, they work. You pop them on now.
Yes.
Here. Pop them on some Dave's bread, that good old seed bread.
With some avocado and some sprouts.
So
it'll take you up out of here.
So you know what came up for me right now is, Jamie, you live in Atlanta.
Yes.
You have full access to Slutty Vegan. So if you really want to treat yourself to a burger, where I do have because you spoke on the processed things. I do know that there are a few processed things over there.
Yes.
But if I'm going to eat dirty, I can still choose to eat a healthier version of dirty. Because I know that it probably still is 10 times better than a cookout or a steak and shake for me.
But that's what matters. Is the steps towards. And I think a lot of people don't want to, because like I said, you're fear of missing out. I don't care how you get to the green side. I just want you over here. So if that means if you're just doing meatless Mondays, do meatless Mondays. Do that for a month. Then it's meatless Mondays and Tuesdays. And then before you know it, the whole week.
Sis, you ain't never lie. It is actually FOMO, because my brain right now, and the thought of the fact that I just had like maybe only 2, I've only had like steak and shake twice and that garlicky butter burger. I'm just like, my brain is like, we don't want it.
But they got something similar at Slutty Vegan.
Listen, my brain is working both sides right now. The 5-year-old is over here throwing a tantrum, but the 45-year-old is over here saying, sis, we are 45. You may not look like it, but there are days that you feel like it. And it is the food. And I know that for 100% fact. You know, taking my journey with the sutras and the asanas and my inflexibility that has come with age, I know that it is the food. I know for a fact, and I trust and I believe that.
Have you seen Chef Babette?
I have not. So actually, that's
70-something years old. And when I say, just looking at her, and if that doesn't get you together, then nothing will. Nothing will.
I just wrote her name down, because you know, sometimes actually I won't even say no. I'll say that the name is not popping off and ringing.
Absolutely.
But I won't be surprised, because like I said, I've been in this conversation. It's not new to me. I've just been between FOMO, 3 jobs, and just being irresponsible to my own self. And I love accountability. I'm all about accountability.
Me too.
So to sit here and just blame it all on the 3 jobs, yes, that does create busyness, but it's the irresponsibility to my body is where that intake shows up.
And what I always like to tell people is that think of it like this. When people say I can't, replace it with the word not my priority. And when you say it's not my priority, then that makes your brain say, well, why isn't it a priority? But when you say I can't, you're just like, oh, I just can't. No, there's no way. But when you switch the word, and I learned that from, you know, I think it was maybe Eric, the hip hop preacher, because I'm in love with him and the way he speaks. Or David Goggins, love David Goggins. And I love his very like direct approach. But when you think about the reason why people say they can't, it's because they just didn't make it a priority. Because when we say, oh, I can't go to the gym, but you spent an hour on social media, but you can do social media and be in the gym. You know, it's all about the wording. And when you use certain words, it triggers your brain to getting it together. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. By no means will I say that I was perfect the full 6 years. You know, I would fall, like, you've been to New York. The pizza here is, And then the days you only got $5, you're like, I can get me 2 slices, you know, or something like that. But as I've grown in, you know, really being intentional with wanting to live a well-nourished and moisturized life, I no longer have those cravings. So I did a detox, and the detox I just did with Dr. Holistic, it was a detox and a parasite cleanse for 28 days. Changed my taste buds. I don't even crave like sweetness like that anymore, because they say when you crave certain things, there's, you know, you're either angry about something or you're, you know, just different things. If you like follow like I Am Surviving Vegan, she breaks it down as in whenever you're craving crunchy things, that means that you have an unresolved certain issue or whatever the case may be. Fix that and you won't be craving your crunchy things anymore. But I you know, I could go on and on for that. But yeah, it's just about making it a priority and what's important. And for me, when my mom got breast cancer, it was just the catalyst for me to really truly want to show up as my best authentic self. And I'm still working on it. And I'm not even gonna hold you like the, you know, the exercising aspect and, you know, really taking care of my body the way it should be is a work in progress. But I won't stop until I get to the ultimate goal of what I want.
Ashe, it is very important that on all of our journeys, no matter what the journey is, that we definitely give ourselves grace.
Absolutely.
And as long as, like you said, as long as every day we're making some small step, even if it's the tiniest step, then that means that we are keeping our word to ourselves. And
Absolutely.
So first of all, question for you. Is there a place where people can like find, do you have like maybe, because some things came up, I'm like, she probably knows all the best places, and like what I used to might have go to for drivers, dining and dives, which would have given me a lot of horrible food for myself. I wonder if she has a list of like people, a list of chefs to follow, a list of, of restaurants to go to, and where can people find that at? And please let everyone know, first of all, this conversation has been so fruitful. I'm like, I don't even want to stop. But when I'm getting our little 15-minute warning,
right,
where did the time go? This conversation was so amazing and so, like I said, so fruitful. And yeah, give us.
Well, I people keep asking me to make a list, and I'm just like, I'm gonna make the list. But you can see like my first 3 seasons of the actual shows on YouTube at Vegan Pop Eats. And you can see all of the interviews that I've done on Vegan Pop Eats 2 on IG. So I'm gonna make a list, because like I can rattle it off. Like, you know, if you're in New York, you need to go to Cadence. That's vegan soul food. And when I say it was voted number 12 in the country, and it's vegan food, headed by a Black chef, Shanari Green. You need to go to Vegan Hood. You can get your vegan oxtails there. That's in Harlem. You can go to Brooklyn. There's Aunt and Uncle. You can go to Terms of Endearment, the best vegan bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches you'll have in your whole life. Orchard Grocer. Heartbreakers, the best vegan fried chicken that I've ever had in my life. There's just it's a plethora of spaces. If you go to DC, they just opened up a vegan botanical bar out there. And they also have like New Vegan. They also have Gangsta Vegan. They got Raw-ish out there. I'll be in Atlanta probably. I'm going to plan a trip around September. To come out there and film some of the restaurants down there as well.
Do we have a date? I would love to join you for one of those. Please remember me.
I can well, let me see what I'm going to do, because first I have to schedule it.
Understood.
And then I have to get the restaurant to participate. And even right in your space, I don't know if you've ever been, but Eating Fresh. I love Yolanda Owens. She's not a restaurant, but she's farm to skincare. Like, she goes to the farm, gets the ingredients, and makes your skincare on premise. It's Eating Fresh. She has an Oasis out in Atlanta, Georgia. I used to be her publicist, like back when I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and she's doing great things in the community. Her products are everything. No parabens, no things that could harm your skin. It's just fresh.
Wow.
And the cosmetics are so fresh, you have to have a refrigerator for them. But they have a life expectancy.
I got you. I remember Carol's daughter used to have something like that.
Yes.
Skin scrub that I used to use that I had to keep in the refrigerator.
Iwi Fresh. It's
I'm definitely going to be checking that out. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And I know that there are going to be more jewels. I know I'll definitely be following you. So can you tell us where can we find you on social media outlets outside of Vegan Pop Eats on YouTube? Where can we find, what name can we find you under?
Vegan Pop Eats.
Same thing. All right. So you
Vegan Pop Eats, and she is Angela Yvonne. That's my personal page, but most likely you'll find me on Vegan Pop Eats, Vegan Pop Eats Tea. That's on TikTok, that's on Twitter, that's on YouTube, LinkedIn, Angela Yvonne, and slide in my DMs. You know, we're all in this journey together, and what I don't know, I can find out.
Got you. I love that. I'm so looking forward to connecting with you further. I'm like, you really just changed my whole like next trip home back to New York. Because although I do live here in Atlanta, this is becoming home, but home base is always going to
whenever you come, hit me up and we can go eat.
I definitely will. I'm like, and I am such a foodie. Just that's where my I already feel my things are changing in my body. My cells are changing over, like, just from this conversation, from conversations that have actually had. Yeah, I actually met someone that is in the process of detoxing right now, and he's struggling with it. And we've been conversating. So I love that life. When you look for what it is that you want and you need, life really provides. When you ask,
every time
you receive. And the conversation has been coming up more and more. The fact that Just Egg was just a sponsor, and I got to speak to some of their folks that came out to volunteer and be with us at a Juneteenth event. We had so many allies out this weekend that didn't look like us. It was such an amazing feeling for everyone to be in the same space, especially with the history of what Juneteenth is all about. I'm so honored that you joined us today and you have brought this conversation here to our Juneteenth space. You are the first person to come here and speak to us about not about holistic living, but about this angle of the conversation and this scope into the conversation. Is there anything that you would like to say to the community before you part today?
Come on over to the greenside. It's dope over here.
It's dope over here. And if you're not already dope, and if you are already dope, let's say it that way. If you're already dope, you'll only get doper.
You only get doper. Well-nourished and moisturized lives is the mission.
I'm like, and not for nothing, right? I'm about to move in close on this camera because I know I said I was 45. I know I didn't say I was traveling for like umpteen hours last night, but look at my skin and look at her skin. Not that mine is like horrible or anything, but I can see the difference.
You are so funny.
And it's not lighting. It's a glow. It's the glow of it. It's part of what I hear happens when you go over to the other side.
But I never had bad skin before, but I definitely see the difference with me eating life versus when I was eating.
I'm like, look, check me out. I'm like, I don't consider this bad, but I know. So I have been clean when I had to initiate. I went through that process. And this skin was a lot clearer. So I know it's for a fact, for real. It's not for fake. It's not for a gimmick. This is not for her to be the one person in one space at all. I've seen it. I've seen people's lives change on many different levels.
Absolutely.
From the tippy of their toes to the top of their crown, to opening up that third eye so wide that they don't even have any of the old challenges and things. And if not that the challenges go away, let me reframe that. Not that the challenges go away, but how they process them and how they handle them are so different. So it's worth it. Please check out Vegan Pop Eats. Please follow Angela Yvonne.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
amazing, sis. Thank you so much for being with us today. And if you don't mind hanging out behind the stage for a few minutes so we could just check in and talk a little bit before you go today,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
would really love that. Thank you so, so much. All right.